In a lively dwarven tavern, Donan raised his cup and asked if everyone had their drinks, kicking off a celebration in honor of Will, who had fought bravely for them and emerged victorious. Amidst cheers and congratulations, the dwarves and friends present toasted, thanking Will for his efforts. However, jokes and minor disputes weren't missing. Colette, always defending Will, interrupted to clarify that he hadn't been recruited by the Tower of Mages due to Shouen's interference. The party continued, but in the midst of the merry chatter, Julius, upset about having to work in the dwarven tavern as part of an apology, kept complaining. Meanwhile, Werkner, the professor, observed everything calmly, knowing that Will's future would now be uncertain after the magic festival. Colette also wondered if, after his standout performance, her friend would be treated better. The next day, at Rigarden Magic Academy, attention was once again focused on Will. Students from everywhere, impressed by his strength, wanted him to join their groups for dungeon practices. Palm and Emma, in particular, were fiercely competing for him, while a crowd gathered around, each wanting him on their side. Will, who had never experienced so much attention, felt excited by the situation, interpreting the flood of invitations as a sign that he finally had friends. Colette, worried about his reaction, tried to protect him from opportunists, but without realizing it, hinted that she had plans to go out with him the next day, sparking rumors of a possible date. In the end, amid laughter, jokes, and camaraderie, everyone eagerly anticipated what the future held for Will, both at the academy and in his social life, which was finally beginning to blossom. The day began filled with nerves and expectations for Colette, who, despite trying to stay calm, couldn't stop thinking about how important her outing with Will was. She prepared meticulously because, even though it was just a shopping trip, for her, it was almost like a date. With Rose's advice, Colette not only aimed to impress Will but also hoped the rumors about them might hold some truth. When they finally met, Will noticed her effort. He told her she looked great, and the compliment made Colette's heart beat faster. However, what promised to be a day alone became complicated with the unexpected appearance of Rosti, Will's roommate. Rosti joined them, and although Will saw no issue, Colette couldn't help but feel uncomfortable with how close the two were. What was going on between them? Was such closeness between friends normal? Doubts began to grow in her mind. During their outing, while Will was distracted, Colette took the opportunity to confront Rosti. With courage, she asked if he had feelings for Will, and to her surprise, Rosti admitted it bluntly. Not only that, he claimed that Will liked him more than her. This revelation shook Colette, who, feeling jealous, tried to defend her relationship with Will, recalling past hugs. But Rosti had a stronger card. They shared intimate moments, like bathing together. The tension between them grew, leaving Colette furious and confused. Right in the middle of that tense conversation, Lihanna Owenzos, one of the Academy's top students, appeared. With an air of seriousness and elegance, Lihanna asked Will for a few minutes. She invited him to join her team for dungeon practices, an offer that was both an honor and a new complication in Will's life. Colette, still processing her recent argument with Rosti, watched as Lihanna, a girl who seemed to have it all, also approached Will. With emotions running high, she wondered what would come next. Will was taken to a room where several students were gathered. The atmosphere grew tense when Shounen noticed Will's presence. He couldn't hide his disdain and, with a scornful exclamation, called him incompetent. At his side, Julius was also outraged, threatening to turn Will into an ice block. But Lihanna, with her usual calm and serenity, defended her decision to include Will in her group for the practices about to begin. According to her, even though he wasn't the most outstanding mage, Will had unique abilities that would be of great use in the dungeon. Shounen and Julius, unable to conceal their contempt, argued that Will would be a burden. However, Wignall, an elf with a more pragmatic outlook, intervened. Although Shounen and Julius dismissed him, Wignall defended Will, reminding them that he had already defeated them before, even if his combat style was unconventional. The conversation centered around the upcoming dungeon practices, a challenge feared by all students. Lihanna, ambitious and determined to achieve glory, had formed a team with the best, including Will, to ensure her ascent to the tower. She explained that her family, the Owenzos, had short lives, and she had to accomplish great feats to honor her surname. Becoming a Vandermage was her goal, and she was willing to use everyone to her advantage, no matter the tensions among them. Later, Colette and Rosti, worried, were looking for Will. When they finally found him, he informed them that he had decided to join Lihanna's group for the practices. This news shocked Colette, who felt a mix of uncertainty and jealousy. The practices were a unique opportunity to gain credits and prove their worth, but they also represented real danger. Werkner and Edward, the professors in charge, warned that the monsters on floors 7 to 10 were extremely dangerous and that some students would die trying, as had happened in previous years. Finally, all the groups headed to the dungeon. Colette, determined not to be separated from Will, decided to accompany him, despite the cold reception from Lahanna. The base camp on the 6th floor would be the starting point for the most dangerous mission of their lives, and as the students prepared for the challenge, tensions among them continued to rise. The dungeon would not only test their skills but also the complex relationships between the members of each team.